Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy James Harris, and today we're going to talk about parenting styles and the effect that they have on the young ones. What's going on, good people? It's your boy James Harris, founder of a movement called Mental Health, which focuses on men's overall wellness, their mental health, as well as their physical health. And I'm also the author of a book called Man, Just Express Yourself, which is an interactive planner guide for boys and men to better express themselves. Listen, I definitely appreciate all the love, support, and feedback that I'm getting on this piece of literature. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Salute to my fellow colleagues, therapists, clinicians who use this as a tool for interventions and everything else within their practice, or as a got this placed in our lives. I definitely appreciate you. Salute to the parents out there who use this as a tool for their young ones, so they can see how much they've grown, see what they need to improve on, see the progress they've been made. And also salute and appreciate the spouses out there, those partners who got this book as a tool and processing different things with your man over your husband, over dinner or date night exercise. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you for your support. So you can get the book on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Target, Walmart, pretty much anywhere books are sold, including my website, www.mentalheal.com. Definitely appreciate you. Make sure you like, share, subscribe this as well. It's good content. I enjoy the feedback. I enjoy listening to you guys. So definitely appreciate you. When we're talking about parenting styles, we're pretty much talking about four different types. We got the authoritarian, the authoritative, the permissive, and the uninvolved parent. And each of these have different effects on the lasting relationships, not only with our child, but how they grow up perceiving themselves. So your parenting style can definitely affect everything from how much your child weigh or feel about themselves, their self-esteem, and everything included within that. It's important to ensure that your parenting style is supportive and healthy for the growth and development of your young one. You want to ensure that they interact with different people their age and have discipline, as well as different boundaries and stuff like that can influence the rest of their life based on those decisions. So when we're talking about the parenting styles, we're talking about the first one I'm going to get into is the authoritarian parenting style. So let me know if any of these sounds like something that you do now with your children, or something that you may have heard when you were coming up. I know pretty much for the authoritarian parenting styles, it was like that old school mentality. You believe that children should be seen and not heard in most cases. When it comes to rules, you believe that it's my way or the highway. I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard that when I was younger. Do you take your child's feelings into consideration? Like the authoritarian style within that, they typically don't. Authoritarian parents believe that children should definitely follow the rules without any exceptions. Like what I say goes, this is how it is, don't ask for feedback or none of that. Authoritarian parents are famous for saying, because I say so. You know what I mean? This is my house, you're under my rules, and things like that. That typically is what happens with the authoritarian parenting style. They also don't allow their children to get involved with different problem-solving challenges and obstacles and stuff like that. They make rules to enforce the consequences, little regard to the child's opinion. Authoritarian parenting styles may use punishment instead of discipline. Yes, there is a difference. So rather than teach your child how to make better choices, they're invested in making the child feel sorry for the mistake that they did. Like if your child break a dish, you're punishing them for breaking a dish, not educating them on, how to not do this again. Like make sure you place the dish all the way on the counter, or you can't break the dish because glass, you can cut your feet and stuff like that. Like you're processing with them. You're helping them understand the severity of what happened, opposed to just constantly reprimanding for action that has taken place. And also within the authoritarian parenting style, children, this type of style growing up, they're high risk developing with the self-esteem issues, because throughout their life, their opinion didn't matter. They weren't valued, especially by their parent or their guardian in most cases. So when they do get older in the workplace, you can look around your workplace, your office now, you'll see that these people may become hostile or aggressive because they don't know how to interact. They're not used to having feedback or returning feedback. So rather than you thinking about how do you do some things in the future, you often focus on the anger and the feel that you have towards your parents. A lot of people don't even take that in consideration, that a lot of these issues are rooted from the childhood if they're unresolved. Since authoritarian parents are often strict, children may grow to become liars in effective cases, and they like to avoid punishment. So that was authoritarian parenting style. My favorite parenting style, and a style that I incorporate most with my young ones, is of course the authoritative parenting style. So let me know if any of these sounds like you in most cases. And this style is pretty much eclectic. It's probably one of the most effective ones because you're getting feedback from your young ones. You're including them, and they're learning, they're developing with this type of style. So you often put a lot of effort into creating and maintaining a positive relationship with your child. You know, you're interacting, you're doing stuff, you're bonding, you're soliciting feedback. Hey, you know, you're asking tough questions. And if you need to know how to navigate those tough conversations, I did a video months ago on navigating tough parenting conversations. So be sure to check that out. But also with authoritative parenting style, you explain the reasons behind certain rules, certain regulations, certain things that you want to see done. And you're explaining, you know, and that's the critical part. You enforce rules, give consequences, but you take in consideration your child's feelings. Like you help them understand why you're putting certain things in place. I know with my daughters, that's one of the things that help me understand. Like, how come you feel that this is the way, or, you know, give me your feedback, give me your view, and we can process it. That doesn't mean I'm going to cave and give them what they want, but I at least want to understand why they felt the way they felt. And last thing, you know, she's going to eventually be on my house. They're going to eventually be on their own, and they're going to eventually interact with adults who are in authoritative positions, and they need to know how to communicate with these people. Think about it. They're going to have a boss one day, they're going to have a spouse one day, you know. So all of that, again, ties into the relationship, not only as a child, but as an adult too. So more with the authoritative parenting style, like there's so many different rules and that you understand have consequences, but you're also taking consideration, again, their opinion, and help them know like why you set these rules in place. Oftentimes, I definitely validate my children, let them know that their feelings definitely make a difference. And it's clear and concise too. You know, I'm ultimately trying to ensure that they understand that they are people, not just our parent-child dynamic. You know, in most cases, that can just be it, and it can hinder the growth or the emotional maturity of those children at the age. Authoritative parents invest time and energy into preventing behavior problems before they even start. You know, so again, everything is educating, everything is processing, everything is positive communication, giving feedback, listening to feedback. Regardless of the age of your child, you can learn some or you can teach them some, and you just want to ensure that they will come to you with those tough conversations when it's time, opposed to just thinking like, I can't tell my dad this, he gonna flip, or I can't take this to my mom because she gonna fly off the hook. You know, just imagine like right now, I'm 35, and I don't know how old you are, but just imagine how much things you held from your parents or felt that you couldn't go to your parents with certain information because they'll react a certain way. So with this parenting style, the authoritative, you can possibly have a better relationship, an open line of communication, and you guys can process and work things out from that standpoint. Authoritative parenting styles definitely also use positive discipline strategies to reinforce good behaviors. I tend to give a lot of praise, a lot of rewards and encouragement, and I just don't criticize or praise when it's that specific time. So I'm giving praise, like even if it's something that they did that was like minor, and something that they did that was grand, like, oh, you got all A's on your report card, good job, keep it up, I'm proud of you. Or if it's something that they didn't excel at, I'm still, hey, nah, listen, you did a good job, we're gonna work harder, we're gonna strengthen this area, we're gonna increase here and there, so you're praising and you're rewarding in any situation, opposed to just those situations to where it's positive. And on the other side of that, you're just not disciplining or constructing in those negative moments. You want to ensure that those communication lines are open. So with authoritative parenting style, which again is my favorite, research have shown that kids found like these parenting styles or this relationship to be most likely to become responsible adults. They feel comfortable with expressing their opinions. Children who raised with authoritative discipline tend to be happier and more successful in most cases. You know, they got chores at an early age. They're waking up, they're making their bed. Their grades tend to be positive. They get along socially with their peers as well as their authority figures, principals and coaches and stuff like that. So they're also more likely to make good decisions and evaluate the safety risk on their own. So one of my little ones, 9, and the other one is 15, and you know, they make their decisions and then they'll say, hey, what you think about this? You know, but by that time, they've already mapped it out, and I just tweak certain areas just to ensure that it is a good decision and that they can benefit and grow from things that they already did or possess. I'm just enhancing the knowledge at that point. So moving on to the next parenting style, which is the permissive parenting style. Let me know if any of these sound like you. So, you know, you tend to set rules but barely enforce them. You don't really give out consequences often. Like you think that your child will learn best from little interference at all from you, you know, which give or take is up to you ultimately because it's your little ones. But you often, you know, step in when there's a serious problem. When you do use consequences, you may not make those consequences stick. Like, hey, you're grounded for a week, no TV, no phone, no electronics, don't get on social media or whatever. And then 2 days later, they give your phone back, you know, or you're not on punishment no more. You know, so the permissive parent usually take a more of a friend role than a parenting role, and it can be a hindrance to that relationship or that dynamic of the parenting, you know, just the parenting dynamic and involving with other adult figures, especially if you're in a 2-parent household, because if you're in this household, it's more of a friendly role, but when they go with the other parent, it's more of a different style. You know, it can seem like, oh man, I can't do nothing over this parent house, you know, or whatever the case is. So you definitely want to ensure that you're communicating with your child and your partner if you are within that case. But also with the permissive style, you know, they often encourage their child to talk to them about their problems, but they usually don't put much effort into discouraging poor choices or bad behaviors. Like, I remember being younger and it was a couple different parents in the neighborhood that would say, I don't mind you drinking and smoking as long as you're doing it in front of me. You know, that could be a situation that, you know, it can start addiction. I understand what the parent was trying to say. Like, hey, if you're going to do it, I'd much rather see you do it and can safeguard you. But, you know, still, that's not really one of the safest things that you can do. And there's so many other examples of that. But the permissive parenting style, kids often grow up with a permissive parent. They often struggle academically. They, you know, may exhibit more behavior problems as they don't appreciate authority and rules and stuff like that because, again, this parent is so lenient or is not as hands-on. You know, it could be a challenge for when another authoritative person or the other parent is more strict and more structured. So they often have low self-esteem and they may report like a lot of sadness in most cases. They also at high risk of health problems like obesity because, again, like, hey, eat what you want, go do whatever you want to do. Yes, we can stop at McDonald's even though you got food at home, or, you know, eat your dessert. You know, you don't got a lot of vegetables and stuff like that. So, of course, obesity, other health problems can enter because it's a difference between junk food, healthy food, or at least moderation. Like, they just got free range to juices, not enforcing drinking water and stuff like that. So I can see why that may be one of those things. So they're even more likely to, you know, have different cavities and stuff like that because these permissive parents don't enforce good habits, ensuring that, like, they brush their teeth at night, they have chores and do different things like that. So it could be a couple different issues that arise from the permissive parent. But the last parenting style that I want to discuss is the uninvolved parent. And yes, it's pretty much what it sounds like. So hopefully you are not in this position to where you're uninvolved. definitely get involved with your children. I'm sure that there's so many different reasons with the other co-parent that might be hindering that relationship, or so many other different obstacles, but it's definitely important that you are involved with your young one. Mend those relationships. You're the adult in this situation. So unresolved parents, man, they don't ask that child about, school or homework or relationships or peer pressure and stuff like that. They rarely know where the child is, or who they are developing, and this can be a hindrance in so many cases. I know a lot of different people now that I've come in contact with, or that I've had sessions with the younger clients, and they honor roll students or excelling in sports. And then the parents have no idea. Like, you haven't been to a game, you haven't done a parent-teacher conference. Those things are like uninvolved. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, it could be detrimental to your child. So many y'all chasing that check or living their life. I understand that, but your child didn't actually be here. So definitely have some type of involvement. Also, uninvolved parents tend to have fewer rules. Hey, you winging it. You all for yourself. You learn to cook at a young age. This can also have an issue with the development of that child. Children may not see the proper guidance that they should, nurturing, and different parental attention. All of this can affect how this young person is developing. You're building the character. Uninvolved parents expect children to raise themselves in most cases. And to be honest with you, it's a lot of children raising children. So I don't mean children as in a chronological age of an adult, but realistically, the emotional mindset of this parent is probably still at a child mindset based on something that may have transpired within their lives that they didn't correct. They don't devote much time or energy to meeting the child's basic needs. And what I mean by that, like clothing, food, shelter, just that relationship, just taking care of that child. Again, certain situations definitely happen with life. You may have lost your job, or you may be too busy, or you may just can't afford certain things, but it's still your responsibility to find outlets and resources to assist your child. Uninvolved parents may neglect, but it's also always not intentional. Again, things happen. And I'm not using this style to bash any parent out there, because life happens. But again, you want some type of corrective action to where you can be involved in that little person's life, because you are molding them, whether you involved or not involved. All of this have a effect on their future relationships as well as their relationships now. So as a parent with mental health issues or substance abuse problems, for example, this may be an issue or one of the reasons why parents tend to be not involved. One of those two reasons: substance use, mental health issues, or other legal problems and stuff like that. So may also hinder how the child grows physically, or emotional needs aren't consistently met within that basis. So unresolved parents lack knowledge about that child development. Sometimes they simply overwhelmed with other problems like work, paying bills, managing the household, so much different stresses in the world as an adult that you forget like the importance of being an active parent. So those things can happen as well. They tend to outperform. These children of uninvolved parents tend to act out in school poorly, have poor academic success. They tend to exhibit frequent behavior problems, rarely happy in most cases. They don't know how to interact with other people. And then sometimes they tend to act out to receive attention from not only their peers, but of course from adults. They just want to be seen. They just want to be nurtured. Like, hey, I'm going to break this. I'm going to fight him because I want you to acknowledge me. I want to feel validated because I'm not getting it at home, or my parent is not giving it to me. So again, if you're seeing a child with behavior issues, it can stem from the lack of attention or something else that they're missing, or they're trying to obtain attention in those situations. So definitely you want to ensure that you're paying attention to all those things. So that was the four type of parenting styles: authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, and unresolved. Again, man, sometimes parents don't fit into just one category. You might got to pick and choose, or, maneuver how you need to ensure that your child is being raised effectively. So definitely don't feel like that you have to stick with one style. at certain times because children are constantly growing. You're constantly growing and developing. So you may need to be a little strict now and then loosen it later. Or you may need to be a little hands off and let them make a little bit more mistakes, just so they can develop and get that character about them. You just want to make sure that they are having positive character, positive peer experiences, and growing and listening to authority, where they need to. So you definitely want to ensure that. But again, authoritative is my pretty much parenting style because I'm an open person. I want my daughters to feel like they are people. They're going to either work for somebody or they're going to own a business to where they have to interact with people. And I want to ensure that they can articulate and communicate how they're feeling or what they're not getting or what they need. So best parenting you can do. That's it. Just be involved for the most part. You can maintain positive relationships with your child while still establishing your authority in a healthy manner. And a lot of people don't know that. They feel that they got to yell, cuss, argue, and do all this to show that they're in charge, which they don't. Realistically, if you go to like one of those countries with kings and queens, the king don't have to come out every day and say he's the king, or the queen don't have to announce every day that she's the queen. People know that, by their diction and how they present themselves, and just based on tradition and heritage. Same thing with this relationship. I don't need to tell you that I'm your dad every day. I need you to know, like, I am the authority figure, and we have a relationship dynamic, and I'm trying to instill certain things in you. You can watch my examples, you can listen to my words. That's the main thing. So, hey, let me know what you think. What is your favorite parenting style? Which parenting style you use? Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I definitely appreciate you. Catch you on the next one.